Rathalos was introduced in the very first Monster Hunter. He is the flagship monster of that game, as well as the entire series. Rathalos is one of 2 monsters that have been in every game since, and he's had quite a few changes and variations over the years. Rathalos' overall moveset in the first game was simple but effective. In terms of physical attacks, he could bite at the hunter, charge at them, or perform a great dive. He also likes to swing his tail around. He is known for being able to shoot fireballs too, either grounded or from the sky. One of his favourite attacks is to shoot a fireball while flying backwards. Rathalos also has poisonous claws that he uses to attack with from the sky. Another very infamous attack has been dubbed by fans as the Rathalos World Tour, where he flies around the area for an extended period of time, occasionally ending with an attack. The Monster Hunter 1 expansion, Monster Hunter G, featured 2 Rathalos variations, Azure Rathalos, a subspecies, and Silver Rathalos, a rare species. Azure tends to have higher attack power and strike from the sky much more often, while Silver Rathalos can attack at an extremely fast rate. All 3 Rathaloses appeared in Monster Hunter Portable, DOS, and Freedom Unite. However, upon the release of Monster Hunter Tri, only Rathalos was present among them. In this game he received a major redesign. His talons, wings, tail, and overall head shape were massively altered, and he is much brighter in colour too. In terms of moveset, he gains and loses attacks. This game introduced elemental blights, so now his fireballs will actually burn you. His old dive attack now has him glide at you while airborne, which he can land from or continue flying. When in the air, Rathalos can also perform new claw attacks, including a brand new pin. In general, he is very good at manoeuvring through the sky, frequently repositioning himself to get a better shot at you. A major weakness he received is that he can now become exhausted, something new to this game. When this happens, he will often stand still and pant, and his attacks become slower and more feeble. He will try and fail to shoot fireballs as well. Silver Rathalos made his return in Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. He has Rathalos' new design and new attacks, as well as the ability to shoot potent fireballs that cause huge explosions. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate brought back the Azure Rathalos as well. Azure can perform claw attacks without having to land, as well as some advanced fire attacks. He is much more adept in the air than he was before. In G rank, Silver Rathalos' head is now incredibly tough, deflecting all attacks. He can perform a fiery bite attack and move much faster than Azure and the base form. It's also worth mentioning that they can all still perform their world tour. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate features all 3 Rathaloses. They're not too different to the previous game, but there are some changes here and there. Rathalos gains one of Azure's claw attacks, and the latter can combo aerial attacks much more. Silver's head isn't as hard as it was before, but he has even more enhanced fire attacks, as well as better combo abilities. The Rathalos World Tour isn't in this game, except for certain areas. This time Rathalos will shoot fireballs while flying around the arena. Monster Hunter Generations includes Rathalos and Silver Rathalos, but not Azure, whose exclusive attacks were given to the base form. Silver Rathalos is identical to how he was in 4 Ultimate. This game introduces a new Rathalos variation, the Deviant Dread King Rathalos. Design-wise, Dread King boasts a darker colour scheme, a new wing pattern, larger wing spikes, a different face, and larger dorsal spikes. Moveset-wise, he has several new tricks. His talons can inflict a more potent poison, his fireballs are bigger and result in large explosions upon impact, and he can even launch a molten chunk of rock that will cause a large explosion. He can also do a new bite attack, where he bites from side to side 2 times, 3 when enraged, which will inflict you with fire blight upon impact. Dread King is challenging enough already, but you also cannot flash bomb him out of the sky unless his wings are broken, which makes dealing with his constant flights much harder than regular Rathalos. In later Deviant quests, he can fire 3 molten chunks that explode like the larger one. The next game in the series is World, which Rathalos naturally reappears in. He is much more detailed than ever before, and his colours are a bit muted. He retains most if not all of his attacks from 4 Ultimate, with some new additions and changes. He can breathe fire in an arc on the ground, hurting anyone at close range. He can swing his tail at hunters mid-air too. He also keeps the attacks he gained from Azure in Generations, like the advanced claw attacks. Rathalos is much more mobile in the air this time, which can make dealing with his new speed and attacks pretty hard, such as this one attack where he attempts to sideswipe you. He can also create powerful fireballs that explode upon impact. Azure Rathalos in this game has the same new additions, but also his own tricks. He is much better at chaining aerial attacks together than Rathalos, who only reaches that level of danger when enraged. Azure also has access to even stronger fireballs. In Iceborne, Rathalos can shoot 3 fireballs while airborne, which he couldn't previously do. Azure Rathalos becomes faster and has even bigger fireballs. Silver Rathalos was brought in with the Iceborne expansion. Like Azure, he keeps many of the changes World made to Rathalos. However, Iceborne Silver is probably the most distinct he's ever been. He gains Dread King's Firebite attack, as well as this new 360-degree tailspin. At certain intervals of the fight, his chest glows red and blue as he enters a new state, called the Hellfire state. While he glows, his flames become much more potent, leaving deadly after trails that do significant damage. His combos are increased, and he gains a couple of new fire attacks. This state is incredibly deadly, but can be stopped if you deal enough damage to his head. Speaking of, you won't bounce off it with white sharpness and above anymore, but it's still not a weak point until you break it. The next game is Monster Hunter Rise. Rathalos keeps many attacks from his world counterparts, including the fire bite that was given to Silver, but he's quite a bit different in that he tends to spend as much time on the ground as in the air. He has many ground attacks as well as aerial attacks, but there are also aerial attacks designed to bring him down to the ground. Azure Rathalos is not in this game, and it seems like once again they enhanced the base form to be more like him, with fast aerial attacks and combos. One major new addition is this flamethrower attack. Similar to the arc breath attack in World, Rathalos will fire it upwards at you. Rise also has the Apex Rathalos, one that survived the storms of Wind Serpent Ibushi and was permanently altered by it, now having many scars. He has several new fire attacks, such as this close range fire explosion. When enraged, his chest glows like the Iceborne Silver Rathalos, giving him access to a deadly fire combo where he uses a flamethrower arc attack, followed by 2 carpet bomb fireballs. His explosion is followed up with a shotgun blast, and he can double up his flamethrower attack. He is capable of launching a molten rock similar to Dread King, although this one explodes much faster and descends down from the sky. The best Rathalos, in my opinion, is a tie between Iceborne Silver Rathalos and Rise Rathalos. They both tend to fight on the ground as much as the sky, which makes them really dynamic. The others are fine, but they're either not aggressive to the same degree, or spend a lot of time in the sky, which I'm not a fan of. The Rathalos World Tour was a really bizarre attack that was a massive waste of time, but I actually kind of miss it. It might be harder to do in the newer games with their open maps, but considering how Valstrax's ambush works, it could maybe be a fun idea to bring it back for Silver Rathalos. Overall, Rathalos is definitely a monster that has improved with every generation. The first iterations were fine, but then Tri really stepped things up, For Ultimate further refined them, and then World and Rise made them even better. Which Rathalos is your favourite? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. This is one of 5 remakes of the earlier Evolution videos, primarily so I can fix errors and use my new microphone audio. If you enjoyed it, remember to check out my other videos too.